Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in our last video, we have completed our find a record using find by ID method and also inserting a record. We have completed our get mapping and post mapping. So in today's video, we'll complete our put mapping and delete mapping. So let's jump into. So we'll annotate put mapping and post mapping endpoint will remain the same. It's just that their HTTP method will be different, so it can be differentiated. This will be very simple one. That's it. So technically, post mapping and put mapping are same. It's just that they differentiate between the HTTP method, but this all the work is handled by the same method, which internally is calling merge. So that handle for the scenario. But in later on we'll cover more scenarios. So then we'll complete our delete mapping. Delete mapping endpoint will be same as endpoint of what? As our find by ID, because we need to pass the value. Okay, and in our last video we sort of missed S here, so we'll add our S in here and we'll also add our S here because it should look plural. Many companies, Spotify and all, they all follow plural approach. Path variable, what will be our path variable? Same as our and then we need to do one more thing, is that call our customer service dot delete by ID and then pass our customer detail ID. But before that we need to do one more thing, is we need to have our customer detail signer and then we need to have our customer service dot find by ID, because we also need to find what we need to do is we need to have one statement checking whether it's not empty. So customer detail signer equals to null. Later on we will have this check on another layer, but for now we are doing it here. So new runtime exception string and our message will be customer ID not found. And then what are we going to do is we're just going to now we are going to return back deleted ID. What ID we have deleted? Okay. So here we are just whatever ID we are getting in, we are just finding the customer detail based on that ID. It will fetch it and then we can also print it or we can also display it, but for now we are just checking it whether it's null or not, and then we are going to delete it and then we are going to show the ID which ID was deleted. Okay, so the development has been done. So now let us run it So let us run our application. So we'll run our application and we will, okay, application tool is starting. So once application started, okay, application is started. Just minimize this a bit so we can see both the endpoints. Okay, so now we'll come to our database. Okay, in our last video we have inserted two records. We learned one last name is null, both have same ID, and the username is different. And email ID is also different. Now let us do one more thing. Okay, before that we need to do one more thing is that you remember we have just fixed one tiny issue. We need to add one S here. Okay, and we'll fire this API. Okay, record is coming. Post mapping, no need to run it. We have two records, we can insert it, but that's not an issue. So now let us create one more. We will duplicate this record and we will change first thing to put, and we will make it little better. And then what we need to do is, so now what are we going to do? We are just simply going to, okay, so now let us see what we need to do. So if for our ID1 we have sign up last name is empty, so let us give Elon for space as his last name. So now we will use ID1 and we will just update the last name. So let us see. So okay, but one more, so we need to make sure that our email ID is correct. So this is wrong email ID. Okay. No, it is. Let us fire our API. Okay, perfect. So now let us refresh. Focus here. Now it is, earlier it was null. Perfect. Our record inserted. Our values are correct. Perfect. Also for you, if you don't want to change his username, Elon Musk too, you can also send it and they can check in our database. So username will also change. Now let us roll it back to original username. So it will become original username. Okay, perfect. Now let us do one more. We'll duplicate it. So we'll just change it to delete. And then what I will do is we need to pass our ID here. We also need to rename it /ID. Okay. So doing your body, body. So now let us run our delete and let's see what will happen. So delete our Elon Musk 2. Let us do Elon Musk 2. Perfect. Deleted ID is 2. So now let us refresh it. Perfect. See, our record is deleted to our database. Perfect. Deleted. Now what we need to do is reset this ID to. Now let us do another thing, because we added, you see that we have added our empty information. Now let us run it. So ID2 does not found in database. It will throw me an error. Yeah, because from controller perspective, we are not sending anything specific for this ID, but it will throw our runtime exception. You see down here. So whatever message we have passed, customer ID not found. This is one of the feature. You can define your own runtime exception for certain scenarios. So you can see that customer ID not found. This ID was not found. So yeah, sometimes you can also handle it if something unusual things come in picture. So now you remember we can pass anything else in American on. Okay, now let us see what bad request. This is the bad request. So did you see this does not consider it as a valid request because it is not accepting. What it is not accepting? Because why it is not accepting? Because what we are expecting as a pass variable, our expectation is int, and we are passing what? We are passing alphanumeric. So that's why it is considered as a bad request. So now let us change our value to something else. So it's changed to internal error, which is Again, let us clear our log so that it's easy to understand. Let us fire again. So now you see that it is running even the customer ID log. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. That will be a big support. Thank you for watching.